This video was brought to you by Moonsong Magic Mermaid Tales. Head on over to moonsongmagic.com to order your first mermaid tale and join the fantastic Moonsong Magic Mermaid Pod. Well, yesterday I just got my eyelashes refilled, so you're gonna bet I'm gonna be filming today. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carly and I'm the owner of Moonsong Magic Mermaid Tales. In today's video we're going to be discussing 6 different ways to improve your swimming in front of the camera for your mermaid footage. All of these tips are based on my general knowledge and what I have learned through the years from what works on the camera, what doesn't work on the camera, and it's taken about 3 years of looking at myself through my GoPro lens and whatnot and seeing what works and what doesn't, and I am very happy to be sharing that with you today. These different tips are coming out of my mermaiding instructor's manual that I'm going to be releasing soon. I'm busy working on it at the moment and hopefully it'll be released sometime in 2023. So keep your eye out for that. So tip number 1. The first tip is to swim without bending your legs. Alright, so when we get taught how to swim, usually when we're swimming with flippers or if we're swimming just with bare feet, we are taught to kick as hard as we can with our legs. So when we tend to get a large kick, we tend to bend from our knees and we go pitter-patter, pitter-patter, pitter-patter with our knees to get the speed. This is what we get taught and especially what we do when we are kids. Unfortunately, as you can see in the video, that bending from your knees doesn't look very good for a mermaid. So what you want to do is to make sure that you extend your legs as long as possible. The movement of your dolphin kick is actually coming from your hips. If you really want to make your movement look more elegant and more serpent-like, you're going to begin the roll from your shoulders. So what I actually like to do is I like to think that it comes from my head, and I dip my head down, I roll my shoulders forward, and then as soon as I start pulling my shoulders back, my hips are still going in the opposite direction. So it's this movement, so forward and back. All right, so that is tip number 1. Try and make your movement come from your entire body and try and elongate your legs. Tip number 2, use less arms. Alright, so I do realize that when you are swimming, it's very hard to steer yourself when you are working in a mermaid tail. So we do have a tendency to want to use our arms and paddle around to try and change direction or perhaps to get more momentum. But the problem is that when you're performing in a tank or if you are filming yourself, your eye gets attracted to different movement. You don't want your eyes to be drawn to your hands and your arms and what your arms are doing. You want to highlight the parts of you that is of interest. So for example, the flow of your tail or the little dangly bits create movement which catches the eye. Or maybe it's your hair or the flow of your hair catches the eye. So if you're coupling that with your hands, then it has a tendency to draw attention away from your swimming and to your hands and to your arms, and it also makes you look like you're not very comfortable. I do also recognize that some schools tend to base their swimming on synchronized swimming where there's a lot of sculling involved. The only time I would use sculling is when I'm trying to keep close to the surface, when I'm busy resting and I just want to stay propelled. But generally, sculling and the technique of sculling is when the observer is looking from above the water down, so they don't see what's happening below the surface. But when you're in a tank and when you are filming, you're seeing exactly what's going on beneath the surface. So you want to use as less hands as possible. Tip number 3, slow down. Slow everything down. It's not a race to get from one side of the tank to the other or one side of the pool to the other. You want to take your time. Next time you go past a fish tank, I want you to have a look at the fish, all right? Generally, they're not constantly darting about the tank. If they're doing that, there's something wrong. But they are kind of suspended. And then they make a movement, and they make a movement, and they make a movement. So this is kind of the type of swimming, you want to replicate. You don't want to dart around. You want to kind of flow and roll into your movements. When you slow down, you use less energy, which also allows you to hold your breath for a little bit longer. So that's like a major plus when it comes to your swimming. The other thing I want you to remember is that when you have finished your maneuvers and you're in a tank or you are being filmed on camera, don't bolt to the surface, all right? Slowly float your way up and take yourself to the surface. When you bolt to the surface, it gives a signal that you're very uncomfortable and that you're gasping for air. And this tends to break the magic a little bit. So like I said, when you're going up to the surface, take your time, float, and still create that beautiful movement and make it look as natural as possible. Tip number 4, relax your expressions. I have seen many performers where they are in beautiful scenarios, but the magic is ruined because their faces are like they've kissed a sour lemon. And this is because you're taking strain holding your breath. Now there's a whole video that can be done about increasing your breath hold so that you feel more relaxed underwater. But even though you are uncomfortable, you have to create comfort in discomfort. And one of those things is relaxing your face. All right, to relax your face, you basically want to take the muscles below your eyes and in your jaw, because when you're holding your breath, you tend to squint and your jaw tends to clench and your throat tends to take strain, and it shows with muscles and sinews sticking out. So you really want to close your eyes, relax your face, and make it look a lot more natural. You need to look like you live underwater. The other thing I'd like to suggest is to look around. If you are comfortable opening your eyes underwater, don't just look straight ahead. Use your eyes to slide around in your eye sockets because it makes it look like you're looking around your environment, which shows you that you are comfortable, which again adds to the magic that you live here. So slow down, look around, open your eyes, and relax your face. Tip number 6, play with the idea that you are weightless underwater. So what stops you from swimming completely upside down? Doing a full rotation so that you're looking at your audience or at your camera at a different angle. So the joy about being underwater is the effect that there is weightlessness. So there's lots of things that you can do to create the magic of being weightless. You can play around with your hair and let your hair balloon around you. You can just kind of hang there suspended, have your tail up, do an inverted flip, look at everybody upside down, climb on the walls upside down and sideways so that it shows that you're in a completely unique and different world. This is always a crowd pleaser. And tip number 7, don't forget to smile. It's very difficult when you've got to remember all of these things, where you've got to relax your hands, relax your face, don't use too many arms, take your time, slow down, look around, and then you're bombarded with all of these thoughts and you still have to remember to smile. One of my tips for smiling is if you have a face structure like mine, where I've got a lot of tissue around my eyes and on my cheekbones, that when I over smile, it pushes into my eyes and then my eyes become slitted. And then once again, it makes it look like maybe I'm uncomfortable. So I tend to open my eyes wide and just engage the lower half of my face when I smile underwater. It keeps my eyes nice and bright and open so that I'm not over smiling and peeping through little slits. So there you are. There are my 6 tips on how to improve your mermaid performance while looking on the camera. If you use any of these tips, please do let me know in the comments down below, or tell me which is your favorite one. Which one did you find was the most useful for you? I know a lot of these types of recommendations do float around, but this is from my personal experience as well, what I found works the best. So if you enjoyed the video, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we'll see you again in the next video. Thank you so much, guys. Happy swimming. Don't forget to tag me in your video so I can see your improvements. Take care.